And people will say, well, this is pie in the sky. He's being utopian. He's not being realistic. But the point that I want to make is, I've been in Washington a while, and I see hundreds of billions of dollars going in tax breaks to people who don't need it. I see an enormous amount of waste and inefficiency. So what I'm going to tell you is not utopian. It's not crazy. It is real. For a start, health care must be a right of all people, workers and retirees. Number two, a $1 trillion investment in infrastructure will improve the quality of life of McDowell County and Vermont and create 15 million jobs. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And again, when I talk about infrastructure for rural America, that includes good quality broadband.
Yes.
So that industry can come to your community. And when we talk about the future, education is obviously the key. The world is changing. Again, this is not radicalism. I want every kid in Burlington, Vermont, and in McDowell County, West Virginia, to know that if he or she studies hard and does well in school, that those kids will be able to go to a public college or university tuition free.
Here's why that clip is so important. He's in McDowell County, West Virginia, which went 75% to Donald Trump. Now, in the town hall itself, Chris Hayes asked people before they would ask Bernie a question, hey, who did you vote for? And virtually every single one of them said, I voted for Donald Trump. So he's in a room full of West Virginia Trump supporters, and they just cheered, without hesitation, getting rid of tax cuts for the rich. So they want to raise taxes on the rich. They cheered Medicare for all, single-payer health care, and in fact, they cheered treating health care as a right and not a privilege. They cheered infrastructure spending. They cheered better broadband, and they cheered free college. This is what we've been telling you all along. We've been telling you that real progressive and liberal ideas are overwhelmingly popular. Sometimes people get lost in the labels, and some of those people in the room would self-describe as conservative. I'm very conservative, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm conservative. But then, wait a second, you just cheered for raising taxes on the rich, Medicare for all, infrastructure spending, better broadband, and free college. What do you think progressive is? What do you think liberal is? Those things are liberal. So we get lost in labels. But when you focus issue for issue and go only on the policy substance, what happens is people are going to agree with you. They're going to agree with you if you just talk about the things that matter and that touch their lives. And that's what Bernie does. Bernie talks about the things that matter in their lives. The result is they're cheering for a Vermont socialist when, I'm sure if you talk to them off camera and you bring up a label like socialist, but, oh man, we don't want no damn socialism. So, look, some people would take this story and blame them and go, well, so that's stupid for voting for Donald Trump then. You're so stupid and racist and bigoted. No, why not use this to change your messaging if you're a Democrat and change what you actually fight for, and then you get their votes. Now, by the way, that's the problem. The problem is the corporate Democrats are not like Bernie. The establishment Democrats are not like Bernie, because the establishment Democrats, the corporate Democrats, don't care about getting single payer, don't care about getting free college, don't care about making the minimum wage a living wage and chaining it to inflation. They don't care about all the things that affect these people. So they're kind of a front group for corporate America, just like the establishment Republicans are. And so all they do is they talk about things that don't have a practical effect on their lives. That's why they're shrieking about Russia all the time. That's why all they have is focus on, ooh, look at Trump's temperament. Isn't he so unfit for office? That doesn't fucking resonate when the status quo is killing these people. And they go, with Trump, at least he's not status quo. With Hillary, we know we got status quo. So for you to point out, oh, goodness, Trump isn't status quo. They went, yeah, that's why I'm going to pick him over Hillary. So it's on the Democrats. You have to say unequivocally we're going to fight for single payer. You have to say we're going to fight to get money out of politics so that we look out for the people, for Americans, for actual constituents. And Bernie Sanders is showing the way here. He's giving you the format for victory. But again, the problem is the corporate donors don't agree with that vision, and so the corporate Democrats are representing their donors and not the voters. And Bernie's saying, represent the voters, not the donors. You're not going to win until you do that. But when you do that, the result is going to be overwhelming because you just saw it. A room full of West Virginia Trump voters who many, elitist Democrats would say, please, we have no chance. Don't even bother, please. Write them off. They show, no, they're more than willing to vote for you if you actually focus on the issues that matter and if you care about them. So I think it's actually a positive message coming out of this, that it's a vindication of liberal and progressive ideas. That's exactly what it is. We told you all along, look at the polls. Don't take my word for it. Look at the numbers. The numbers show they are with us on almost every single issue. So since that's the case, if you're pushing those issues, they're going to vote for you. But the corporate Democrats don't do that. The establishment Democrats don't do that. They're too busy representing their donors. And they're leaving the door wide open for charlatans to step in on the right and pretend like they care about those issues. When you're running the human embodiment of NAFTA in Hillary Clinton, who supported NAFTA, who called the TPP the gold standard in trade deals, when you're running her, all it takes is a Republican to say, yeah, I don't know, I'm anti-establishment or something, and by the way, I'm against NAFTA, I'm going to kill it. And to his credit, Trump actually did. But all it takes is a politician who says that for these voters to say, look, I want my job back. I lost my job because of these trade deals. I don't want any more of these trade deals. I want my job back. One of the guys went on to say, well, Trump said he's going to give us jobs and healthcare. That's why I voted for him. So perhaps the strategy from the Democrats shouldn't be screaming Russia from the rooftops. And perhaps it shouldn't be calling Trump voters all racists and sexists and bigots. Perhaps if you actually, show them your vision for the future, and that vision is making the U.S. a social democracy, not only will you win them over, you'll win a majority of them over, and you can win elections in a landslide. So that's the party we need to create, and that's exactly what Justice Democrats is working on. Justice Democrats is the Bernie wing of the Democratic Party doing a hostile takeover of the party, getting rid of the corporatists and the establishment Democrats and the elitists, and having a party that's actually of, by, and for the people and pushes for the things that they want, and the polls show that they want. And you want to talk about a real big tent? Here's your big tent. The big tent is so big that it includes having people who describe themselves as conservative get behind our agenda. That's the point. The corporate Democrats, when they talk about unity and when they talk about a big tent party, they mean let's allow in Wall Street and we will do the ideas they want us to do. Big tent party. Big tent party. We do what Wall Street wants. Such a big tent. Our idea of a big tent party, our idea of unity, is unifying behind an actual progressive message and a liberal message, and people who self-describe as conservative willingly agree to do our plan and our solutions and our policy substance. So Bernie shows you right there it's completely possible. And man, is it a sight to see. A room of Trump-voting West Virginians who go, raise taxes on the rich, Medicare for all, let's do infrastructure, better broadband, and free college. Ain't that something?